10 years ago, a bold vision was born, a dream to unite voices, strengthen partnerships, and place early childhood development at the heart of national dialogue in Kenya. My name is Sally Mora. As the programs coordinator of ECD Network for Kenya and a global leader of the World Forum Foundation, I am deeply honored to help tell this story, a story of collective effort, quiet heroism, and unwavering belief in the power of the early years. This is our story, this is our legacy. Welcome.
My name is Professor Teresa Mwoma. I'm an associate professor at Kenyatta University in the Department of Early Childhood and Special Needs Education. But I'm also the founder and national coordinator, ECD Network for Kenya, which brings together all actors in early childhood to deliberate on issues affecting children.
How has early childhood development evolved over the years? What are your views on its evolution ever since it began, and largely with the context of Kenya?
When we think about early childhood development, we look at children right from the time they are conceived up to around the time these children join school. When we think in the context of Kenya, for many years, early childhood development was equated to pre-primary education. So whenever you talk about early childhood, people will start thinking about pre-primary education. But that is not the case. But historically, when we think about how young children were taken care of in order to promote their development, we go back to the pre-independence period when the whites started early childhood centers to care for young mothers' children who were working in plantations, just providing care, looking for one mother who could care for children while the others were working in the plantations. But that progressed into having early childhood education centers. Years have moved. Early childhood development has been appreciated maybe from 2018 with the coming of the nurturing care, where we have had people realizing that for children to develop, their health must be catered for, their nutrition, their protection, their early learning opportunities, and all that. That now gives a new outfit to early childhood development because now we are looking at the different aspects that help the child to develop in relation to health, their nutrition, their protection, their parenting programs that enhances their development.
And while you've been in this space, what are some of the shareable concepts that have been seen to be borrowed up across various contexts?
The shareable concepts includes the ones I've said, early childhood development, but also child care, children's growth and development, child protection, and all of these they cut across different fields. For example, when you talk about children's protection, they're going to be protected when they are in school, when they are in their homes, when they are in the community, whichever environment. When we talk about child care, the child is cared for at home, in school, in the community, everywhere. Recent developments where we have urbanization, employment of women, because women are seen as the primary caregivers of their children, moving into the employment sector. It has brought in other issues such as having a caregiver who is not related to the family, but also who is hired to do that work. And therefore, the social nets that existed before, where the extended family members and people who are in the rural areas where all this is possible, had to change. And because of that, now caregiving has acquired a new outfit where children are cared for in the daycare centers, at home where caregivers live, or in informal institutions like in schools or at church centers.
And in your view, what impact has framing of these concepts had in the early child development context?
In 2010, the Constitution of Kenya devolved pre-primary education, child care facilities, and health care services to the county government, which means when we think about children's education, the county government plays a critical role of ensuring that they provide education for these children. For people to be sensitized, when you talk about early childhood development, you are not thinking about education alone. Education is only one component out of maybe 5, health included, protection, parenting, and things like that included. So that is one of the confusions that has come into play because of the different terms. In terms of childcare, we also need to help people understand what it entails, okay, in terms of looking after these children. Who is supposed to look after these children? Who is supposed to provide guidelines on how these children should be kept care of? But because child care facilities are devolved to the county government has a critical role to play to ensure that guidelines are in place and counties are properly guided on how to ensure there are safe childcare spaces where children can be taken to.
You know, Prof, listening to you speak, I'm learning a lot. And what unique lesson has your vast experience shown that can be a lesson for all?
My experience has shown me that people in Kenya tend to do things in silos. Those who are in health, they tend to they are focusing on this one child, whom at the end of the day, those in education are also focusing when that child turns 4. And those in the care sector are also focused in terms of providing care services, and harmonization or coordination of all these services has not been properly done. And I think the best way is to have government take lead in terms of coordinating all the initiatives around the child.
Thank you so much, Professor Mwoma, for sharing highlights and all your vast experience with us. And we're looking forward to making sure that the advocacy messages that you've shared with us, we can actually incorporate in the ecosystem and we can stop working in silos. Any parting shot for us?
Thank you so much. And I want to encourage all Kenyans who have children at heart to take it forward that children need all of us, and we need to support each child regardless from where we are, whether we are in health, in education, and all that, and we all work together. For policymakers, policy tends to take a little bit long to be completed, like the ECD policy that I mentioned. I encourage policymakers to be quick in making those policies, finalizing them, but also seeking support from the other actors to be able to implement, because it's one thing to make a policy, it's another to implement. While government may have played their part in developing policies that will provide guidelines on how children should be supported, other stakeholders from state and non-state actors have a critical role to play to ensure that these policies are implemented. And the non-state actors include the civil society organizations, the UN agencies, the private sector, and everybody, including the researchers and the academia. All of us have a role to play to ensure that we give our best to the children.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Asante sana.